I've been having a look at this tonight, and I've come up with a method for adjusting the size of the button um, panel dynamically. It's a bit of work to do. I don't know if it'll hold up in the real world. It might need some adjusting, but it seems to work okay for the test case that I have. So I'll just show you what this looks like. So we've got a tree control here, and we've got a long name in there. And then when we expand it, I've got a much longer title, so we adjust to fit the length of that title, and then we can go further. Now, this title and this title are smaller than this one, so nothing happens. But we can go a little bit further, so that's a really long one, so it grows a little bit more. And then we've got another really long one, so it grows much more. And then we can collapse that entirely and come back to the original size. And um, expand it again and it'll come back to where it was. That's just the way the tree works. But now if we walk back up the tree, it'll just adjust itself to the sizes that it had to begin with. So let's go and have a look to see how this was done. It's a bit of work because what I thought we needed to do was get at the information for each one of the tree branches. And there's not a really great way to do that. Although there is a way. Just adjust this. Um, with alpha there's always a way. So in the branch label, I've added a span to every piece of text, and the span has a class in it just called my class. That's all there is. So every one of these, whether it's a tree branch or a form, whatever it is, it's got a class attached to it, and every one of them is called my class. And this means that in JavaScript, I can go after, I can get all the classes called my class, and then loop through these and figure out which one is the longest one. Now, there might be a problem with Internet Explorer version 8 or prior to version 8, but I don't care. So let's have a look at, so once this is done, and once we understand what our kind of our minimum width is, because we set a width in our button panel style here. This was originally set to 2.5 inches. I think I just changed it to 250 pixels because that sets up nicely for the very first button for the text on that one. So that's good. So that's important as well. Now, let's go and have a look at the controls, and all we need is to use the JavaScript events on node expand and on node collapse for each one of these. After having a look at Selwyn's solution, I'm thinking that maybe the JavaScript for each one of these individual nodes might be better. I'm going to have a look at that later, but anyway, this works. So on node expand, I'll post this JavaScript. We go and we get the original width, so that's fine. We grab the original width, and I need the size. This returns pixel width, for example, 250 px. So I don't want the px, so I pull that off. I set up a prior width of 250 as we come in, and a padding. I'm padding out the width at 0 to begin with. Now, every one of these tree branches has a class on it called. It depends on your on the class that you're and the style that you're using. This was mobile blue, so you're gonna have to watch that. So I'm just going to grab mobile blue. There's probably a variable way to do this, but I'm not going to worry about that right now. So I go and grab the tree branches by class name. So I get them all, and now I'm going to just loop through every tree branch. I'm going to grab the current display. So it is the tree branch displayed or not? So the very first one is blank, I think, and all the rest of them are set to none. If it's displayed, then its style.display is block. So if the current display is not equal to none, therefore it's showing up, then we're going to go and get all the classes or all the elements within each one of the branches called my class. And remember, that's how we set up our text. So now we've got the text for every one of these things. And we go and get the branch text, which is the inner HTML, and then we go through a process whereby we can get the size of it. This might not work out all the time, but it's not too bad for now. Again, this could use some fine tuning. So we wind up with a text width in pixels now. That's what this does. It gives us a width in pixels from the actual text. So now we can compare it to our starting point, which was 250 pixels. So if it's less than 250, just make it 250 because we don't want to go any smaller than where we started. Our prior width is 250 as well. That's where we started from. So if the text width is greater than or equal to prior width, then we pad out a little bit because we're adding in the some of the icons that go into the tree control. And our new size for our menu panel is text width, which we figured out up here, plus some padding, plus we have to put px back in here, and we just set a style.width equals to our new size, and then we loop around again. And so that works for expanding all the trees, so all the nodes, so that's good. Now for collapsing, it's almost exactly the same thing again. I'm going to take this out of here. Well, I'll leave it in and just comment it out. It's almost exactly the same thing when we want to leave. Except I think I noticed that the display when everything is collapsed, some of them are still set to block. So there's something else going on in there, and I haven't really looked at it that much. But in this case, what we want to do is, if we're dealing with the this is a bit of a change. So if we're dealing with the very first node, so in our loop, if our branch is equal to 0, then we just want to set padding to 0, else our padding is still 160, and that's because we're going back up through the chain. And the only other problem I ran into, as I said, is even though nothing's displayed once we get back up to the top, our current display still reads block for some of the other items. So but not for all of them. I think just anything after the first one or the second one. So all I said was I kept this in here, and if current display is not equal to none, so it's showing. But if we're at the top and something else is set to block, but the second node is set to none, then I just get out altogether down here, and I just return. So as soon as we're at the very top and anything is set to none, we just get out, and that seems to work okay. Again, I doubt very much this is going to hold up in the real world, but it seems to work okay for this. And put the code in, have a shot, and see how it works out for you, and just post your results. It's an interesting process. Thanks.